name is Rachel Abler. I'm the Assistant Director of Outdoor Education here at Colorado College, and let's talk fire building. All right, so fire building it's a really great skill to have, especially for anyone that's going to recreate in the outdoors. Just because you know how to build a fire doesn't mean that you necessarily should. So always be sure that you're checking your local regulations and fire ban conditions to see if it's appropriate for the place you're going. And yeah, but if you are able to have a fire, whether it's in the backcountry or in your backyard, these are some of the steps you should take into consideration. So before you build a fire, it's important that you have an adequate place to have that fire. So I'm in my backyard, and I have this kind of makeshift fire pit that I put together here for this demonstration. It is solid rock with some slate and some bricks to help contain that fire. If you're backpacking, maybe you're bringing a fire pan with you, perhaps you're at a location that already has an established fire pit. There's other fire mounds, various other things. Unless it's an emergency, it really is discouraged that you collect and assemble your own fire pit because we want to do our best to follow leave no trace practices at all costs. We can talk about that more later. Great. So we've got our established fire pit. We've checked our conditions and it's okay to have a fire. I have the means of putting out my fire just in case it gets overwhelming or when it's time for the fire to be done, that I can put it out cool to the touch. Great. Now let's talk fuel. So fires need to have fuel to burn. Fuel consists of kind of 3 different steps. We have our tinder, natural tinder, dry grasses, very small, really helps to get that flame and that fire going right off the bat. I also like to bring to have prepared lint. This is from your dryer. You should always remove this from your dryer because it is a fire hazard, but it really is a great type of tinder, and bringing it along is essential in case you happen to be out and about, you need a fire, and all of your dry grasses are not so dry. Maybe you have really wet conditions or snowy, so having some artificial tinder can be great as well. Awesome. Next we have is our kindling. Kindling are small twigs and sticks that are, I'd say, smaller than about your pinky in size. Again, we're kind of stepping up from our tinder to our kindling, and then we come to our larger, we have our sticks. Sticks, I'd say, are more of that pinky size, pinky to about thumb in diameter. And then once our fire is going, then we start to bring in our larger sticks. Especially in a backcountry setting, really don't want to use any sort of stick or log branch that is larger than your forearm. Any larger than that, and you're going to have to be out there for a long time for that fuel to fully burn out. Otherwise, you're going to leave a scar, and it's going to encourage other people to have fires as well. So try to stick to the smaller pieces. All right, now it's time to actually build this fire. So, fire time. It's important to think about the 3 different styles of which you can set up your fire. So you can think about it being in a cone shape, almost like this triangle shape here. Fire, the flame always rises, and so putting it in this shape will help to allow the flame to catch the fuel that's up above it. We can also do log cabin style, where you kind of build these pieces up next to each other, back and forth, back and forth. This helps to give your fire a base. This is really great if you're going to be doing a fire for cooking purposes. It's more solid. But it can be a little bit harder to ignite initially because it doesn't have that fuel up above, and that's where that flame wants to get to. And kind of our third option is to work off of a lean-to. Get a stick in here that'll fit pretty well. Great. Oftentimes you'll start with a larger log branch, and then you'll use some of your smaller sticks next to it, and you try and build that fire right down in here. What that allows is if you're in a really windy condition, perhaps the wind is coming from this way, this will serve as that wind block so that your fire can start and not be blown out every time the wind blows. All right, let's get building. I'm gonna start with making a nice fluffy nest with our tinder. We also have some bark. Bark is really great. It's light and it likes to light. Haha. Now I'm going to move on to my slightly larger sticks, the kindling. I don't want to overfill this too much so that the fire can breathe. All right, we're going to start there. Take your lighter. If you haven't used a lighter before, it's got a wheel and this lever. You want to push down on the wheel and hold that lever. Note that the flame goes up. So you find a spot that you can get your hand in there without burning yourself. I think this needs a little bit of artificial since not all of my wood is completely dry. I'm going to try and keep building up so it has a place for the fire to be fed. Try and stick a couple more pieces up in here. And there you have it. So we would need to continue to feed our fire, working our way up from the smaller sticks to the larger sticks. If you need to place wood, we don't want that to collapse quite yet. A good trick is if you have a stick that's handy to help you with guiding the wood that you place on. So if I were to place on a larger stick, I could take my wood and help to lean it into place so that it's not going to collapse. Just like so. Might need a couple more to help keep it in place. And there we have it. Nice, lovely, warm fire. A fire can be a great way to enjoy the outdoors. Just be sure you do so responsibly. Stay with the fire until it's time to put it completely out, whether it burns out by itself or you need to pour water on. But either way, it needs to be cool to the touch. So enjoy the fire. If you know that you're about ready to be done, don't add more wood to it. Try to ensure that the wood fully burns out. And then if you're able, scatter the ashes. I'll wait to do that in the morning. Time to enjoy. I tell ya, it must be gorgeous. Keeps following me, that smoke. Come on. Don't want to lose ya. Come on. Ooh, check it out. We have a wild gazelle in our midst. Listen for this. Deep, deep, deep. Are you a little deer? Oh, what are you doing? Keep it going. Are you trying to steal my sticks? Are you stealing my sticks? What are you doing? What are you doing? Get some of these little bit of pieces going here. Leave it. Leave it. Go away. Shoo, shoo. Shoo, shoo, shoo. right, that's a wrap.